Hello, everyone. This is Sandy Lerman from Heartstrong International, and I have a special guest to introduce you today. I'm here with Dana Parisi. Dana is a parent coach and an educational trainer. She's a graduate of our advanced programs. She went through the entire program, learning about trauma-informed practices and also becoming a certified parent coach and a certified educational trainer. So thank you for being here, Dana, and welcome.
Thank you so much, Sandy.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of ask you a little bit about your experience in the program so that anybody who's thinking about joining us can get kind of an idea of why you joined and what you found was a benefit for the program. So can you tell us a little bit about, first of all, what you were thinking about before you joined the program?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I worked with you as my parent coach, and that was in a really hard season for me. I was really struggling with behaviors from one of my children who's adopted. And honestly, I'm a reader and I love to research, and I had read all kinds of stuff and I had tried like everything, all the different approaches from experts. And really, I felt like we were sinking our ship. I just picture it like we were flushing a toilet. We just were going down this negative cycle. And I was just desperate to like figure it out. It's like I couldn't give up on her. And so working with you really was the thing that made a difference in our relationship. And I felt like, gosh, I can't believe I couldn't, like, I just appreciated your insight. And as we were going through it, I remember thinking, if I can get out of this hole that we're in, I would love to help other families like thrive as a family and get out of this hole that they're in. And so that was just kind of in the back of my head as we were working. And of course, I've seen so much growth with my daughter that just really inspired me to go into this and to do your program. When I talked to my husband about it, he's like, you probably know all this stuff now. Why would you do a program? And I really thought, like, this would legitimize me as a parent coach, that I have a certification. Like, a lot of the stuff we did go over when you were my own coach, but we went deeper and we went into it in a way that helped me share it with other people. So that's why I did it. And I'm so, so glad that I did.
That's awesome. And can you talk a little bit about that too? Like, what a lot of people don't even know what a parent coach is. What do you think is the difference between working with a parent coach as opposed to going to a family therapist or reading a book about parenting or other kinds of supports that parents look for when they're struggling?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of people ask me that. I feel like a lot of times there's, of course, room for therapy, for families to go to family therapy or for our kids to go to therapy. But I really feel like the parent coaching is an active approach. Like, we're actively trying to move forward, not just talk about what's happened in the past. And it's not so much like I talk to a lot of people who really want their child to be fixed by the therapist. Fix my child, they're doing this. And I remember feeling that way, like, please fix this child. Whereas really what I learned throughout this whole process was I needed to start with myself. Even though I really didn't want to change myself all that much, I thought my approach was working with my other children, and I didn't necessarily want to change me. That's really where the healing started, when I changed my approach and I was active and proactive, I guess. So I think that's one difference in parent coaching versus therapy. And so what I tell people is that it's an active approach, working together, collaborating and problem solving, understanding the root causes of the child's behavior, and then understanding our own reactions as adults. Why are we reacting this way? How can we help ourselves calm down so that we can be available to help our child?
That's fantastic. And I just want to say I really went through the same process. I had worked with a coach previously when my son had massively explosive episodes and we were really struggling. And through that process, I realized that this is something I want to do for other people. So I love that it's kind of a pay it forward kind of a profession where, we're all parents, we're all in the trenches together. But it's really that peer mentoring from somebody who really gets it, who really understands. And I love that you did both, that you actually went through the coaching process and now you're using this program to be a parent coach yourself. So tell me, what are you doing now? How have you, it's been a little bit since you've graduated. What has happened in your business life and in your, maybe even with your family since being in the program?
Yeah. So I think it's been a little over 6 months since I graduated, and I started my own private business. Like, I will say that I'm kind of a business novice. I have had no business skills really prior to the skills that you gave us in the training, but I had the desire to help people. So I started kind of looking into it. I started my business about a year ago, slowly, and so I do have a private practice that I connect with people a lot of times on Zoom, and I do one-on-one parent coaching, and I have resources that I send to people. But I've gotten a chance to do a couple things in the educational trainer area, which I am really grateful for. And it's more out of my comfort zone because it's bigger groups and I'm more of a one-on-one comfort person as far as talking to people one on one, but I've gotten a chance to educate a bunch of, well, to work with a bunch of teachers, talk to them about trauma informed practices and compassion and early childhood teachers. So I think I've gotten a chance to do 6 presentations, either webinars online or in person for parents or educators about trauma, behavior, the educational components. So that's really exciting as well. And then as a parent coach, I partner with our county here, my local county asked me to be a consultant with one of their programs where they offer families all kinds of different options to support families that are struggling. And one of the options now is parent coaching. And so I get referrals from my county, and then it can work with those families, and the county actually supports that program. So that's really cool too.
That's fantastic. And what I love about what you have done, Dana, is that you've really branched out and you have multiple streams of income, right? You're not just focusing on one thing. You have all of this expertise now, so you can support parents and families, you can support the county with the work they're doing, you're supporting educators. It's really a versatile kind of program, I think, that you can use to, for whatever you want to do. And I love that you're doing that. You're just tapping into all different sources. So how are people receiving this information? Do you think people are open to a trauma-informed approach?
I really feel like people are. Yeah, I feel like when I talk to the majority of people, and I would say 99% of people, feel like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. And that compassionate approach for the adults, I feel like really is so important too. Like what's happening in our bodies when our kids are melting down is real too. And so we don't just ignore that and pretend it's not happening, like to be aware of that and be okay with that and then move forward. So yeah, I feel like people are open to a trauma informed approach. I think a lot of people use that term and they'll say, oh, we're trauma informed this or trauma informed that. But then when I talk to the people in the trenches, they have shared at times like, I'm not really sure what that means in this situation, or how do we apply that to this? So that's one of the things that I get to do.
That's awesome. So tell me, how did the program equip you to give people that practical knowledge that they're looking for? As you said, a lot of people understand that we need to be more compassionate, we need to be more connected, we need to be trauma informed. But then what do we do when a child is kicking tables and throwing things and not being able to take their medications? I mean, there's all kinds of behaviors that come up as a result of trauma. So many parents and teachers that I talk to just say, what do I do? So how has the program, the Heartstrong program, helped you, equipped you to support families and teachers?
Yeah, I think the first thing that comes to mind is the practicums that we did. So doing those practices with real families as part of the training. So I think that helped me, one, really think on my feet, I guess, and then two, really understand the material and the concepts on a deeper level so that I could share it, with confidence. So that I think equipped me. And then it was a stretch for me to do the educational training presentation as part of our program. And I did that on Zoom with probably like 20, I think a total of 27 people participated in it.
That
And
was
I
your
was
first
nervous.
time, right? And you did a
Yeah,
fantastic job. It was
yeah, it
really
was my first time. I was so nervous to do it. I really was so nervous. And I did practice my presentation, what I wanted to say, and I practiced it for a couple of people who are close to me who would let me try it. But like with anything, when we teach something, we learn it in a deeper way.
Mhm.
So I think that those things really equip me.
That's awesome. So how is your family now? How are
Our
they?
family's good. I mean, our family's good. We're busy. I feel like there's always things going on. I always tell families, like, I'm still in the trenches with you. I've got From 16 to 7-year old are my four children. And I have two biological, two adopted. We have a lot of things going on. We are busy. So we have meltdowns, we still have moments, we have things that come up, but I feel like I'm equipped to handle them. When I see these meltdowns, I don't panic like, oh no, what's going to happen? What am I going to do? Like I can approach it with calm. I can problem solve with my kids. Our relationship and all four of my kids, but especially the child that I was really working with you to understand better, has improved so much. Like, and that's huge. The foundation of our relationship, like, is the foundation for everything else. So we have a stronger foundation. So even when things are hard or I have a request that is not something the child wants to do, we can get through it. So I'm very hopeful that we're going to continue to grow.
It's awesome. So, for those who are considering joining the program, whether they want to be a trauma informed specialist or they want to go on to the advanced certification programs, what are some things that you would tell them to encourage them to join the program? Because I know a lot of people think about joining a program and they're not sure it's really going to be worth the time or worth the money. What are what's something that you would tell them to answer any concerns they might have?
I think the first thing that I would think about is asking each of us to consider what our why is. Like, why are we even looking at it? And really understanding your own why, I think will help you come to the answer that's right. Like, if your why is to be a better parent, that's a good why. To have those skills to help other parents that who are struggling, that's a good why. So I think understanding your why really well and writing it down somewhere, will kind of help you decide if this is the right thing for you.
Was there anything that made you think that this program was a better fit for you as compared to other programs that you were looking at?
I would say the main thing for me was that this is the program that worked for me. And I had tried a lot of different suggestions from books and experts and other things that are out there and I think are valid and worthy, but they were not working for us. Even if I was trying to apply them correctly, it wasn't enough, or it didn't start maybe. I think the difference with the Heartstrong program is that it starts at an earlier level than some of the higher
Mm.
mental functioning skills that we'd like to see that maybe require us to go back a few steps and just really work on that calm and regulation before we can work on those things. So I think because it worked for me, I was like, boy, then this is the path that I really want to take.
Yeah, and I appreciate that you said that because that's what frustrated me. That's why I created the program. I found that all the other parenting programs assumed a certain level of regulation of the child that wasn't there in our case. Like we had very explosive, aggressive behaviors, and the only advice I was given, even by therapists, was, well, call 911, take him to the emergency room, take him to the hospital, for those really extreme behaviors. And then once we got past that, then it was, okay, now how do I parent this child? You're telling me about medications and interventions and all these things, but I have to parent this child on a day-to-day basis. How am I going to do that in a way that's going to bring that growth and healing over time? So I'm glad that you found that valuable. That's really the goal of this program, is to help people find growth and healing, whether it's for their own families or to support, classrooms or organizations or anywhere where families and children are struggling. So I'm glad that you found that valuable.
That makes me think of one more thing that I've gotten a chance to do because of all this, is that my local school district, where two of my four kids go, asked me to be their district family educational liaison, which basically is another parent who's kind of gone through an IEP process, special education, to walk with other parents through it. And, really they asked me because they're hearing my name and they're, seeing some of the things that I've done for the educators. So I'm really excited about that part too, to be able to help families, that I'm just doing as a private person, but really it's because of my work with this coaching.
That's fantastic. And, I want to point out that what you've done is you've really started networking locally. You're becoming that local expert, that local Heartstrong expert, where people find out about what you're doing and then they're going to refer you to other people, and then you're making a name for yourself. And then you become, you don't have to be famous all over the world to do this work. I mean, there's lots and lots of parent coaches out there. But once you find that niche where you have an expertise, and in this case, it's trauma and working with adopted children, working with kids with behavior challenges, when you're in that niche and then you make a name for yourself, that's when the clients start coming in. So I really commend you for taking that advice to heart and really going with that. That's great. And you also do a little bit of nutritional and health consulting as well, don't you?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So helping families just find better health and wellness for the whole body. Yeah, it's one of my passions.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So thank you so much for your time today. Is there anything else you want to, I want to have you share how people can get in touch with you, but is there anything else that you would say to those who are considering joining the Heartstrong certification programs?
I would say I feel like we need more people out there spreading the word, because the more people who are approaching children with challenging behaviors with a compassionate outlook, really helping them calm down their nervous system, the more people who are on that same page, the more we're going to see these kids grow and thrive rather than kind of continue down a slippery slope of behavioral challenges and trouble with the law and all those things that are at high risk for our kids with challenging behaviors. So I'd say go do it. We need more soldiers out there, fighting this. And then to get in contact with me, my website is livestouchedcoaching.com. Livestouchedcoaching.com. My name's Dana Parisi. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I love what you said about, just getting more people aware. First of all, the awareness needs to increase because so many people aren't even aware that that old behaviorist traditional disciplinary paradigm is really not only not effective, but it's traumatizing children in a lot of cases. So I'm excited that you see this as a movement, as something where, it's not, that's the reason we started the program. We want to train more and more people. And if we train more and more people, then that just causes a ripple effect for change and for growth. So thank you so much for that. And yes, people get in touch with Dana if you have any questions for her about her parent coaching. She's does an excellent job, and I'm sure she'd love to work with you. Thank you so much, Dana. I hope you have a great day, and thanks everybody for listening. If you want to reach out for more information about the program, you can send an email to support@wingbuilder.com. And our website is heartstronginternational.com. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.